You're now listening to the 11:30 podcast. Enjoy the show.
Nasty, hateful, insane nation that ever existed.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the 11:30 podcast. What's goody? How everybody doing out there, man? We made it back here. I'm back. You know what time it is, man. It's not 7:30. It's 11:30, man. Yes, man. You know I gotta do it. I appreciate everyone for tuning back here for the podcast show here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. If you're new to the show and you're new to the podcast, definitely do me a big favor, man. Hit that subscribe button down below. Yes, smash that subscribe button. Like it, leave a comment, and do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, I'm excited. I'm ready to get into the show. I got an amazing guest that's going to be joining me in a few. Yes, Colleen Faul, you guys. Yes, she's an author, you guys. She's an entrepreneur. She has a dope book out, her latest book out, God's Precious Gift, a Special Needs Child. We're going to be chopping it up with her on her awesome book and everything she had going on. Coming up later on in the show, man, for real. Stick tight for that. But before we do, man, we ain't going to waste no more time. We going to get into the show, man. Just want to start it off. Just, man, how was everybody Valentine's Day yesterday, man? I said this I said this on the commission episode I was on last week with the guys, man. Shout out to Warren Marlowe and Eric the Joker. Also shout out to my guy Shiz, my guy Blackheart. Yeah, man, my fiance always say, man, it's National Get Some Man's Day. But yeah, Valentine's Day, Love Day, February 14th. For me, man, I'm trying to spread the love every day, man. If we could just gotta celebrate one day of just some type of fake love and stuff like that and sending out happy Valentine. Nah, man, come on. You everybody know who my family, my loved ones, my fiance, everyone know, man. You rock with me. The love is reciprocated and back, man, and more for real. So this one day out of the year, I actually forgot about it. It was Valentine's Day, man. Me and Bay kind of show each other love every day, and just we don't need to wait till one day come around each year to show people love, man. Let's give people they flowers while they're here, man, and congratulate them and tell them how awesome they are, how proud they are, man. Especially, because it's a lot of people out here suffering. You see people, maybe these entertainers and these big celebrities or whatnot on TV and doing these things, but man, come on, man, they, deep down inside, man, all that money, man, they're not really happy, man. So at the end of the day, man, what it's all about is spending it and enjoying, life with, the people, you want to be around, surrounded around, and just enjoy it, man, for real. But like I said, man, uh, love on each other, man. Love on each other. This world is so divided, and with so much things that distract us from our bigger goal of why we, really here. I just say love on each other, man. Love on each other because that's what they don't want us to do. They don't want us to unite, man. And I think if we came together as one, because for real, man, we are as one, man. We just need to come together and just like my guest last week, Camry Gibson, shout out to her. And we all just need to use our powers, man. I ain't gonna be up here preaching and all that, but yo, man, show love every day, man. Give everybody they flowers while they here, man, and just and if you haven't talked to someone maybe in a long time, man, reach out, man. Tell them, man, what's up? What's going on, man? I was thinking about you, So that goes a long way. That definitely goes a long way, man. But definitely out there, man. Everyone out there showing love, I appreciate it. And all right, man. I gotta show the love back. Definitely gotta show the love back. I hope everyone enjoyed the Super Bowl this weekend, man. Yes, big game that went down in Glendale, Arizona. Really, really good game, man. It came down to the wire. I know Philadelphia fans were just irate, man. I seen stuff all over social media how, when big games like this and they on the line, people are destroying their own TVs. Like, bro, these don't look like no cheap TVs. Don't look like no TVs that they just, got from the thrift store or anything like that. These are like 50-inch big ass screen TVs. And, I was just saying the other day, man, like, I enjoy watching, sports, as far as basketball and football or whatever, but I'm not fully invested into it, like that, man. And I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I'm not about to be spending all my damn money on a daggone TV or whatnot, and I'm smashing it because my team loses though. But yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles fans, yeah, they were outraged, man. Was it a holding call? Was it not, man? Some say it was definitely a holding call, but Patrick Mahomes is going down as one of the greatest quarterbacks in history. Won two Super Bowls, man. So shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs. But the headline beyond the Super Bowl was also the Apple Music halftime show that featured Rihanna, you guys. Yes, Rihanna making her big return, to sort of the spotlight in a way. She haven't released no new music, and I know everybody is glamming for new music from Rihanna. I mean, not me though. I mean, I was just saying to myself, man. I like the whole idea of her just making people wait because when she do drop some new music, people gonna go crazy though. But nonetheless, though, the performance, man, my thoughts and reactions on the performance, I thought it was okay though. At the end of it, I was like, I asked myself this question: was that Super Bowl worthy? And I don't know. That is my really the God's answer. I really don't know, and I'm pretty sure who cares though. But yo, that's my God's. I don't know if it really was though. Something in me want to say no, but it was a great performance. Her going, way high in the daggone air, performing all of her number one hits though. She looked amazing. And a lot of people were saying, man, she used this to basically come out to say, hey, she's pregnant again. And when I was watching it, I said, yo, babe, like, is she pregnant again, babe? It's like, nah, maybe that was just her, she just had a baby. And I was like, really? Because she kind of like had a baby a good minute ago. Like, she was pregnant when you was pregnant, though. Like, but to come to find out, she is pregnant again. Speaking of children and of pregnancy, my little man in there making some noise though, man. I love him, man. Love him. 7 months though. Little Teeth is coming in. I know I'm talking about the Super Bowl, but I just thought I'd mention that, man. Yeah, 7 months. Teeth is coming in, holding his bottle. He's starting to crawl now. Like I'm loving every moment of being a dad, man. And parenting is definitely challenging, but definitely getting the hang of it, especially a parent as a disabled parent, So I'm definitely getting the hang of it. And I remember like before this whole before my son came and was like I ain't gonna say no names, but it was just like, yeah, maybe you should try maybe, and it was a cool idea, I didn't, really knock it, but I was just like, I don't know, because, me having a disability and, of course my sister, she had kids, but I really never really sort of helped them as much that I probably would as my own or whatnot. I don't know if that sounds good or not. But it was just like, yeah, you should get like a little fake little baby and just try to hold it and see if you can get the grips up holding it because how my hands are and stuff like that. And I just in my mind I'm like, well, this something you can't prepare. You can't. I mean, you could prepare all day long, and that's what we did, man. We was like, we gonna have this ready. We gonna pack the bag. We gonna and you go prepare all day long, man, for having a kid. I mean, you go prepare sort of financially, having Pampers, diapers, clothes, situation like that. But just you know, man, a baby placed upon you in your life. I don't think, man, and it's just everything connected, So hey man, I don't know. Well, kind of like talking about Rihanna and the pregnancy though, but yeah, and also talking about me being a disabled parent. Um, We're gonna be chatting with my guests coming up in just a few. Colleen Fowl, you guys. Yes, we're gonna be talking about her amazing, amazing latest book out, God's Precious Gift, a Special Needs Child. Yes, she's a parent of a special needs child. Man, it's an awesome story, man. Really, really awesome story. Thought I brought her on. Shout out the invite. Shout out, shoot, I shot her the invite. Got to get it out. I'm all tongue tied. I shoot her the invite and was like, man, I'd love to have you on. To come on and just hear your story and hear others, hear your story as well, man. So that's gonna be great, you guys. That is gonna be great. Okay, besides that story of mine, though, the Super Bowl halftime, man, was okay, man. Really great. I like Rihanna. She dope and everything she does, man. So definitely shout her out. What she did at the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't think it wasn't like I was last year. Last year it was off the chain, man. Kendrick Lamar, Mary J, 50, just Dr. Dre, Snoop, in LA it was just off the chain though. But just having Rihanna there solo, I expected a little bit more, but hey man, dope performance for the Super Bowl halftime show. And once again, shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs, man. But yo, man, we gonna move on here on the 1130 podcast. Yo, a new episode of Beyond 1130 is still coming, you guys. Man, I'm having a little couple of difficulties and also with the scheduling. We're getting guests. Some of the guests were available and the other half was not available. But I promise you guys, Beyond 1130 is still coming, you guys. And also a new episode of Talk Pro Wrestling coming this Friday, and also a live episode of Talk Pro Wrestling this Saturday before Elimination Chamber. We're going to go over all the big matches: Brock Lesnar versus Bobby, Edge and Beth, the Grit couple taking on Judgment Days, Rhea Ripley, the winner of the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match, and Finn Balor. Man, we're gonna be chatting about what else we got. Both of the Elimination Chamber matches, the Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns match with Sami in his hometown. This is set to be one of the biggest nights for Sami Zayn and one of the biggest nights in WWE history, man. We talk about like where the fans were behind a superstar or a guy. We all remember with CM Punk in Chicago, Money in the Bank. You remember that type of feel, man, that reaction? I think it's going to be something like that, man. But I can't wait. I hope you all enjoy me live, man. Yes, right back here live on the 1130 podcast YouTube channel and Facebook channel, man. So definitely, like I said, follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Okay, all right, we're going to move on, you guys, here on the podcast. It's time for the WTF moment of the week. Yes, yes, yes. WTF moment of the week. Hey, yo, man, it's crazy. I know I ain't been the only one, and I've been saying this over social media over the last couple of days. Yo, WTF, man. What is the government shooting down in the sky, man? I think over the last week or so, they done shot down like three things. Something was supposed to be a Chinese space balloon, that they were thinking about shooting down, but shot down in the last couple of weeks. Like, WTF, man? What's going on here?
High-speed jets patrolling the skies close to one of America's Great Lakes in Michigan on Sunday. Captured by a local from his back garden and posted on social media after news that for the third time in as many days, the US had spotted and shot down an unidentified object, this time in the skies above Lake Huron.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the U.S. military shot down objects over Alaska, Canada's Yukon Territory, and Lake Huron.
Yesterday's downing followed similar discoveries in the sky above Alaska on Friday and then the Yukon Territory in Canada on Saturday. Both those objects were also shot down, but where they came from or what their purpose was has not yet been disclosed. Only that they were both balloon-like objects.
It's hit. It's going down.
Just like the massive Chinese spy balloon that was shot down off the coast of South Carolina on February the 4th.
What's gone on the last, 2 weeks or so, 10 days, has been nothing short of craziness. And the military needs to have a plan to not only determine what's out there, but determine the dangers that go with it.
While recovery efforts for the Chinese balloon are still underway, the US has said definitively that it was part of a massive global surveillance operation by Beijing covering at least 40 countries. And while it's still too early to say where the 3 latest objects came from, aerospace experts like Major General Scott Clancy say if it looks like surveillance and smells like surveillance...
This is not Bob and his balloon in the backyard, that's floating these things around. This is a level of technology or innovative technology that is not indicative of a private company or someone else. It's indicative of that which a nation state would have. This, to me, is the concerted effort of an organization that is attempting to garner significant information.
WTF, man. I don't know. The government ain't telling you, everything, man. They saying these something spy balloons or something, man. I don't know. Some people saying it's UFOs. They shot down UFOs. Look at, man. I ain't gonna do no speculation here on the 1130 podcast show, man. But hey, yo, WTF, man. It's pretty strange, man. Real strange. Okay, all right, you guys. We're going to flip from strange, man, to very interesting and very good. I have an amazing, great, interesting guest, you guys, that's coming up next. Colleen Faul, Arthur, you guys, that's going to be joining me here on the 1130 podcast show. Don't move. You're listening and you're watching to the 1130 podcast, man. That's right.
Your sex drive is, or if the person you with doesn't get you going. And I think to hear or to kind of like get this light shed on as older men get the more that men start to understand that sex isn't everything, and women are kind of on the opposite end of that. Like we're not grown up to idolize sex, but we're grown up knowing that sex is powerful because the world teaches us that. Our moms let us know, like, you basically if you want, if you got a vagina and you look good. So it's kind of weird to hear that we're on opposite ends, because the older you get, women are already at that point where sex is nice, especially if you know what you're doing. Because a lot of men out here thinking they got it, and over here just fucking slapping goddamn hips, and that's about it.
Damn, not hips.
No, man be twerking too.
The chemistry's off, or if you've just been fucking the fuck your whole life, and now you get to a point where you're like, oh, it should be more than this, but you didn't build up anything in between. Like, you just got to a point and realized it. It's kind of, then it's like, oh shit, there's too much sex, because you've never really, like, you can go from sex to making love to fucking to, like, there's so many fucking levels.
Yes. Talk about that shit right there.
Like, if you get to a point where it's too much and it don't do nothing to you, then I think you need to take a step back and like reevaluate what sex means to you. But again, I'm finding out people that sex don't mean shit. So that's like a whole revelation that I'm understanding. Like, some people really don't even need that shit. Like, you could touch their hand and they like, it's too much. Like, elbow me.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. It just depends. Sexual compatibility is a real thing, and I don't think we actually really take time to understand our own sex drive and where we actually stand and how important sex is. Because we get relationships and somebody really like fucking, you really like fucking. Somebody don't like fucking, now you don't like fucking, and now you don't know why you miserable.
Now you stuck. Now you fucking.
Amazing guest, you guys, that's joining us this week on the show, you guys. Yes, Colleen Faul. She's an author. She has an amazing book out, you guys, that we're going to be talking about here on the 1130 podcast, you guys. It's really close to sort of my story and what's going on. Everyone who's been following me and they tuned into the documentary as far as me, having a disability and stuff, and then with special needs. We're gonna have it all, man. It's gonna be a great show. We ain't gonna waste no more time. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna bring on Colleen Faul here on the 1130 podcast. Colleen, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I appreciate you taking the invite, coming on here on the 1130 podcast. How life treating you?
It's treating me pretty well. I've been having a pretty good day, actually. Okay. God is good. It's good.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Once again, thank you, Colin, for taking the invite here on the 11:30 podcast. Before we dive into everything and talk about your amazing journey and also your amazing book out in the story, tell everyone about yourself.
Sure. Well, I am a stay-at-home wife and mom. I've got two rambunctious little toddlers running around. They are 3 years old and 20 months old. My youngest, my daughter Grace, was born with a pretty rare genetic disorder called Tuberous sclerosis complex, which is kind of what led to all the things that occurred to bring Dre and me together. Um, but I've been just kind of just a stay-at-home mom, but then I got inspired to become an author, a children's book author of a book called God's Precious Gift of Special Needs Child. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a stay-at-home mom and an author.
Okay. So the author thing just sort of came about when your child was diagnosed with a disability, right?
Yes. So I was inspired to write the book as a result of my daughter getting diagnosed with a disability. Her genetic disorder is very rare and it's very broad reaching. It kind of affects every part of her body and her life. It's basically a genetic disorder where she can grow benign little tubers all over her body, in all of her vital organs, on her skin, in her brain. They can just show up anywhere because there's a part of her DNA that has a mutation on it, that the part that is supposed to regulate cell growth is malfunctioning. So it'll grow all of these benign tumors all over the place. And the tubers themselves, they're non-cancerous, so they're not dangerous in and of themselves, but depending on where they show up and how many there are and how big they grow, they can cause some really serious health complications. And that continues throughout your entire life, or her entire life. It doesn't stop. There's no cure. So we're in a we're in a marathon, not a sprint. And in finding out about that for our daughter, we found out when she was 6 months old. She was, as a mom, finding out that your daughter has a condition that's going to affect her entire life like that, and by extension my life, my husband's life, and my son's life, we would never be the same. It was a journey. It was quite a crazy journey to have to grapple with the new reality of that we were just kind of blindsided by. And I'm a very faithful person, so I turned to prayer in that, and I was just having a lot of honest conversations with God about what was going on with my daughter. And in those prayer conversations, I was inspired to write this children's book. And it's all about God's love for children with special needs and their families. And it's really turned into this very beautiful thing, I think, which is what led me to come and end up talking with you.
Hey, I love it. I really, really love it. How did you handle all those, emotions? Because as I was talking to you before we started, and just coming back from a doctor's appointment with my son, and we was just
Mhm.
doing some checkups because me and my fiance have disabilities and stuff like that. And I
Mhm.
remember when I was young, and my mother found out, when I was 3, that I was diagnosed. I was, because I kept falling, and she wanted to go take
Mhm.
me to the doctors and stuff like that. How did you handle all of those emotions? And also, yeah, with that question, were there any family background, with this type of disability?
Oh goodness, no. Okay, so there were so many emotions that came
Mhm.
with that because my daughter, it she didn't just have tuberous sclerosis. She started off with what we found out later to be infantile spasms,
Mhm.
and she was having some regression in her development. She stopped being able to reach milestones that she had reached before. She stopped being able to roll over. She stopped being able to smile. She wasn't making eye contact, things like that. And so a big part of it was surprise that first, when she was right before we found out about all this, she started doing this really jerky arm motion where her arms would just fly up into the air. And then she herself would act all surprised by that. And this would happen over and over again, just like a few seconds apart each time. And we brought her to the emergency room, and they told us that she was fine. They told us that she was being fussy, and they sent us home. And that didn't sit right with me. And so the next day, a friend of mine sent me a video of another child who was doing these exact same arm motions. And the child in the video had something called infantile spasms. I didn't know what that was. Got on Google, and it told me enough, like a 5-minute Google search had told me enough to know that it was dangerous and it needed to be treated right away. So literally on a dime, I had to turn into like a mama bear and an advocate. And I called her pediatrician, and I told her that we need an emergency EEG now. I think my daughter's having infantile spasms. And they tried to give me the runaround. They tried to refer me to another hospital that we had already been trying to get into, and they weren't giving us the time of day. I told them, no, I don't want to go there. And then they said, well, we can see you, but not for another month. And I said, no, that's not good enough either. She needs to be seen today. And I kept on saying today, today, today. So, and finally they were like, okay, we can schedule you for an emergency EEG. We'll see you tomorrow. Is that okay? And I said, okay, we'll do it. We can come in tomorrow. And so, and finally, whenever we finally did get her in there, within like 2 minutes of being hooked up to the machine, they knew that she was having infantile spasms. And I had about 24 hours to look up what that was. And basically it's a very rare and dangerous form of epilepsy for kids. And it's where they're having these seizures, basically hundreds of seizures at a time that are happening in clusters. And so it started off, you're asking me about all the emotions. It started off with kind of just this fight or flight mode where my daughter needed to, like, at first I was like not sure what's going on, and then my daughter needs help, and it was like I'm mama bear mode. I like, we have to get her seen. We have to get this taken care of and addressed right away. And that was kind of the mode I was in for a good while, because they ended up admitting us to the hospital, and we ended up staying for like 3 days. And they ordered like a bunch of different tests, and it was in that testing that they found out about the tuberous sclerosis. And the tuberous sclerosis basically meant that she had a bunch of tubers in her brain that was causing the infantile spasms. So they kind of went in hand. And just finding out about all of that was very, very scary for me as a mom. It was terrifying because we didn't know what we had, from the time she was born. We'd assumed she was a healthy child. We had assumed that she was healthy, and we had all of these hopes and dreams for her that we didn't even necessarily realize that we had, but turns out we did. And then on a dime, we realized that those hopes and dreams may not necessarily be options anymore. And that was kind of like getting the rug pulled out from under me. And I didn't even realize that I was so attached to all those hopes and dreams until I realized they were gone. Because all of a sudden, with this genetic disorder, so many basic things that are just assumed and presumed with every child, we could not take for granted anymore. Things like, would she ever learn to walk? Would she ever learn to talk? Would she ever be able to feed herself? Would she ever be able to communicate her needs effectively? Let alone, would she be able to grow up and have a job one day? Would she ever get married? Would she ever, all of these things for that parents just assume for every child. We can't assume any of that anymore. So it was very, very scary, just kind of wondering, what is my daughter going to grow up into? Like, what is her future now? And it's the fear of the unknown. And it was really, really scary. And I had to deal with that for a good while. And I think the best way to describe it was that I went through a grieving process which I think is appropriate for any parent who finds out that their child has a disability. But there's a grieving process, not necessarily grieving a death, but grieving a life not lived that I thought we were going to live, and that was for her a life that I thought I was going to live by extension. And there was a grieving process, and I went through all 5 of those stages: the denial, the bargaining, the anger, all of that. And then and again, like I said, it was with I'm a very faithful person, and so I was coming to prayer. I was bringing all those emotions to prayer in that time, and that and that faith life, that prayer life that I had, thank goodness it was there for me, because that was where I found my consolation, and that was where I found strength to be able to, my daughter is still here, and she is still beautiful, and she needs me, she needs my husband, she needs me at my best.
Yeah.
Because she has needs, and she now has special needs, and someone needs to fill those special needs. Who's going to fill them? Me. That is now my job. And so it was kind of like a metamorphosis of just, I have to turn into a new version of myself that I didn't know I needed to be before. And it's a painful process. I mean, it's kind of like, shedding a skin in a way, but it was good. It was a good thing. And I think I'm better for it. And I have grown so much, but I've grown in my ability and my willingness to trust in God, and I've grown in my flexibility and just accepting whatever my daughter is going to be able to do. Then every little thing is a victory, and I find joy in every little thing that she's able to do now, and that's wonderful.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I love it. I really love it. In your book, A Precious Gift. Am I right? A precious gift.
It's God's precious gift of special needs child. Mm-hmm.
Yes, God's precious gift. I always, say that my disability is sort of my superpower, and that it wasn't by mistake, and that I just, I understand, from my mom also growing up, she had, so many, challenges and stuff like that were taking me back and forth to the doctors, and just the fear of unknown, and just, like I said, going back to the doctors and seeing what when my disability get better or worse and stuff. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, and also now being a new dad and with taking my son back and forth to the doctors now, it's it's all coming back, it's all coming together. But from that also, how is your daughter doing right now?
She's doing great. She has surpassed all of our wildest hopes that we dared to hope for. From a year, we found out about this a little over a year ago. So for everything that we were daring to hope for a year ago when she first got diagnosed, she has surpassed all of them. She's walking. She's a happy, healthy little girl. We have a lot of, regular doctor's appointments and maintenance type things and monitoring that we have to do, and she's in a lot of therapies. She's delayed in a lot of things. She's got kind of a global developmental delay. She's still struggling with eating, and she's delayed in her speech. So we're going to therapies and everything for that. But overall, she is a beautiful, happy, healthy little girl. This is the great thing about her, is that she doesn't know she has a disability. She doesn't know that she's different from anyone else. This is just life for her, and she's happy as can be, and she brings joy everywhere she goes. And in my book, that is like, I love that you said that in your situation you have found in your journey that you are not a mistake. I love that, because that's literally said. That is said in my book. My book is basically, again, it's a children's book. And I think I got the idea to write this book in answer to my own prayer in consolation, because the things that the parents in here, it's a book about two parents who find out that their daughter is going to be a very special child. I've used very broad language in the book so that it can apply to pretty much anyone. But they find out that she's going to be a very special child, and she's going to have needs that most other kids don't have. And the parents in this book are very worried about this and concerned about it, so they take it to prayer. And Jesus in the book comes and has a conversation with the parents and answers them and helps them to understand that this child, he didn't give them this child by mistake. He gave them to her. He gave her to them as a gift. And that's why it's called God's precious gift, a special needs child. And Jesus helps them understand that he doesn't make mistakes. And and this child that he allowed to be made so special, he made sure her heart and her soul were special too. And she is going to be an avenue of grace for her parents and for everyone else around her. Anyone that encounters her, she's going to be an avenue of grace for her. And the parents in the book are concerned that they may not be up to the task of caring for their daughter. And he calms their fears, and he says, oh, wait a minute. I have known that your daughter is going to be, I've known that she was going to be yours for your entire life. And I have been preparing you for her your entire life. You don't need to worry. I've given you the graces. I have given you everything you need to be exactly the parents that she needs. That's why I gave her to you. And I'm with you regardless. Like you are exactly what she needs. And it's a beautiful book, and it spoke very deeply to my heart and what my heart needed to hear at the time with my daughter getting diagnosed. And I've heard pretty much universally from everyone else I know who has read it that this is either something that they needed to hear, and it helped, and it has helped encourage their heart, or it affirmed what they already knew, that their child was a precious gift. And it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful, and one thing that's beautiful about it is being different. I struggled on that when I was young about just being different. Oh, I was in a wheelchair, or I had braces on my legs, or that I was, my hands were a certain way and stuff like that. And as your daughter get older, and you said she don't even know that she has a disability. I, I I don't know if you had this thought, but trying to well explain to her that she is different and it's okay to be different and live a happy life with with a disability.
Yes, no, I've thought about that, and that I'm sure, well, it's possible that that day is coming. We're going to see cognitively what she's able to process as she gets older. But um assuming she gets there and she is at a place where she asks those questions, I mean, everybody's different. I mean, you, in your case, you had something going on with your legs that was visibly different for everyone else to see. So you were more obvious, and she will be more obvious, but everybody's got something different about them. That's how everyone is made. It's just some are more visible than others. And that's how it's supposed to be. And it's beautiful, because if everyone is the same, how boring would that be? So
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm hoping that she finds that satisfactory. It has helped me.
Yes. I agree. I run into multiple people, especially people who have disabilities, and they just are the most joyfulness people in the world that don't even
It's true.
let they disability or their special needs stop them from doing what they doing. I get a lot of that come my way, and I'm blessed to do what I able to do, and just don't focus on the stuff that I can't do, and just focus on the stuff that I can do, and just do it well. And I say that's the best way I can sort of put it, though. That's the best way I can put it. But your book, though, can you tell everyone where they can get a copy of it? And
Sure.
yeah, more on it.
Yeah. No, no, absolutely. You can buy, it's available on Amazon. Again, it's called God's Precious Gift, a Special Needs Child. And you can also buy it on my website, which is www.godspreciousgift.com. And on that website, you can find out all kinds of stuff about the book, about me as the author. You can also find out stuff about my daughter and what's going on with her medically. It's got connections to her Facebook page where I keep people updated on her condition and what's going on with her. There's stuff in there for intercessions, which is basically just prayer requests for her. And if you want to, if like my daughter's name is Grace, if you want to find out more about Grace's TSC journey, all the resources are there, and you can find out all about the book. The book is coming soon in a Spanish translation. I'm getting it translated into Spanish, and we will see what future books come after that. But all that will be on my website.
Okay. What's the biggest goal that you would like to accomplish with this book out? Also, and also helping other people with special needs, also other parents as well.
I think my biggest goal is that since the book has been published, it has just as a natural consequence, brought me into contact with so many other families of children with special needs. And it's been very beautiful to grow in community with them and to have other people in my circle who are kind of going through what we're going through. And that's awesome for community. And it's also given me a chance to kind of mentor some other parents who are in similar situations that I was just in. Their children are just getting diagnosed and trying to help them process that. So I think my goal is that my biggest goal through this book is that it help families, that it be a positive influence and a source of consolation and a source of helping understanding and calming fears for families of children with special needs, because anything that can help during that, especially that scary time, at first when it's all new.
Yeah.
If my book can help calm the heart of even one person, I think that honestly, that sounds, one person sounds so little, but honestly, I feel like that is my biggest goal. Just because even if it helps just one person, then it's worth it to have written this book. But in addition to that, I'd love to sell this book everywhere. I'd love for so many people to be able to read it and to love it as much as I do. So I want to sell it all over the place.
Okay. I dig it. I definitely dig it. And as you mentioned, prayer is definitely definitely a big thing, especially that I have included and put a part in my life, growing up, just trying to figure out myself and where do I go here, and my disability, and just being different and stuff. So prayer does work, and I understand. I get it. What keeps you motivated and inspired though? What inspires you?
My daughter. I mean, it's like I'm sure you can relate to this. You've got a son, and it's just like both of my children. I don't want to say just my daughter, both of my children. I have two young kids, and they are just so precious. And they're like unconditional love in a way I've never experienced until I had kids. It's just been wonderful. And love casts out all fear. And it's through loving them and them loving me back, just like unconditional, just like hugs, kisses. It's wanting to play, wanting my time, just to be, just to spend time with me. That is such a wonderful, beautiful, we're in a beautiful time in life. And that is motivating, and wanting to be able to spread that's my motivation. That's what inspires me to keep going and doing everything that I can, because my daughter's a little champion. She's a little warrior, and she's got a story worth telling that can inspire others. And I'm motivated to share her story. It's been wonderful.
Okay. I dig it. Man, I really enjoy the story, and Colin, you coming on here on the 11:30 podcast. I always ask what keep everyone motivated. always ask my guests what keep them motivated and inspired, because there's always something, in the world that kind of like, want to bring us down. But just like you said, everyone has a story, and I love that you coming on here and sharing your story here on the podcast. I had another question that I was
Yeah.
going to ask you, but I just totally forgot. Oh, actually, yeah, you have any other books you have in mind that you want to come up with?
I am working on, okay, so I've got two projects right now that one is finished. So right now I'm working on a book that is kind of a companion book to my current one. It's a companion book to God's precious gift. And I don't have a title for it yet. It's in the very early stages. I've only got like a first draft done. But it's basically same general message, but for a special needs sibling, and for a sibling of a child with special needs, and trying to figure out, like, how is a sibling with special needs a gift? And especially because as a sibling, the dynamic is very different. A lot of times for a sibling, it is very easy to feel like the sibling with special needs gets all the attention, and everything kind of revolves around them. And so I'm trying to get a first draft. Well, I'm trying to create a book that is it's got a very positive message of why a sibling is such a beautiful thing to have, and a special and a precious gift from God as a special needs sibling. So I'm working on that. Don't know when it's going to come out. Don't know when that's going to happen. I'm
Okay.
getting, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, when that does come out, definitely got to have you back on, because that is something very interesting that I would like to hear more about.
No, I'm interested to see it too. I'm interested to see how it comes out. I'm getting my current book, God's Precious Gift, translated into Spanish, and I'm hoping that will be available sometime late March, early April. And I'm also I have these other books that are not related to this one, but they're black and white books. They're board books for little babies. And they're faith-based. Where, I don't know if you realize this, but when a baby's first born, they have really bad vision. They can't really see very well at all. They can only see about 1.5 feet in front of them. And they have just enough focus to be able to distinguish the main features of a person's face, pretty much. And so whenever my first child was born, when my son was born, knowing that, because I have a degree in early childhood education, knowing about the development of their eyes and their brains, I wanted to have some images that my children could engage with from a very, very early age. And babies can see best with high contrast black and white images. And I wanted something faith-based for them. And I scoured the internet trying to find faith-based, high contrast black and white images. And there was nothing. It doesn't exist. So I created my own. I made like 4 different board books for my son. And it's things like the pictures, like a picture of the face of Jesus, a picture of high contrast black and white picture of the cross, picture of the empty tomb, like these faith-based images that are simple, high contrast. These are the first images that my son really imagined and really was able to engage with and see and dwell upon. And the thing about these images is high contrast black and white. It's not just that they can see it, it's that when they engage with these, it stimulates cognitive growth for them. It increases their cognitive growth. So it gets their brain working, and it starts generating brain cells. And also, it stimulates, it speeds up the development of their eyes. So, so it's not just fun for them to look at. It helps them see better. It makes it, in simple terms, it kind of helps to make them smarter. It helps them develop a love for reading early on. So I love the slogan that I put with all of these black and white books. nourishing your child's body, mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul. So your mind, you're stimulating cognitive growth. Body is helping your eyes, and your soul, because it's faith-based images. Those books, I created them and wrote them a long time ago, but I haven't published them yet because they're board books. And if with a paperback book like God's Precious Gift, there's all kinds of print on demand services. But with board books, there's no print on demand board book service. So you have to order a lot of them all at once. And then once you have them, you need a place to store them. You have to store like 1,000 books. And I didn't have space, and I didn't have the upfront cash to buy all like over 1,000 books. So when I get the resources, those will get published.
Okay. I dig it. You said your first child was a son, though, right? Did he say mom? Did he say mama or dada first?
He said dada.
Okay. Is that a thing? Like, I'm a new parent. I guess is that a thing? Because
dada tends to be more common because it's easier for their little tongues to figure out sooner.
Okay.
Some kids say mama. My daughter, actually, her first word, she literally said her first word like last week. She's 20 months old now. She said her first word last week. It was outside. Not mama, not daddy. It was outside. I want to go outside.
Outside it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I dig it. Okay, you guys, man, we having fun here with Colin on the podcast. We're gonna move on, you guys. It's time for the 11:30 podcast. Hot seat, you guys. Yes, time for the hot seat. All right. All right, Colin. It's time for the hot seat. I got 6 questions for you, and we're gonna roll with it. You ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, all right. Is there anything you regret deeply?
Like just in general, or about my book?
Or just in general?
I think regretting, yes, I think so, because especially in that early time, about a year ago when my daughter first got diagnosed, I was in the mentality of just trying to get through what we were dealing with in front of us, just trying to make it to the next thing. Let's make it to the next doctor's appointment. Let's make it to the next therapy. Let's make it to the next medicine change so that we can figure all this out. And I spent so much time just trying to get to the next thing that I didn't concentrate on my daughter in front of me. And I look back on it, and it's like I spent most of her infancy trying to get past it. And now looking back on it, I miss being there with my daughter, with my little infant daughter. I'll never get that time back. So, I mean, I was there for it physically, but I was just trying to get through it, and I didn't enjoy the time I had with her. So yes, that is a regret that I have.
Okay. Did you feel like at any point it was your fault?
I think it was, a mistaken mentality to be in. Probably not the best mentality to be in. So I guess that is on me. But I wouldn't, not in the sense that I don't blame myself for it. Okay. It was like I was doing the best I could at the time. So not in that sense.
Gotcha. Okay, I dig it. Okay, all right. What are 5 words you think other people would use to describe you best?
5 words. Tall, for sure. I'm 5'10", so, and I live in Cajun country. So everyone here is like 5'2", 5'3", and I'm 5'10", so I stand out. So tall. I hope they would say faithful. I try to live my prayer life. Loving and quirky. Or just weird. Quirky or weird, I think.
Okay. I can dig it. I can go with that. All right. If you go to a restaurant and you have terrible service, is it okay to tip?
Sure, it's okay to tip. It's always okay to tip.
Yeah, is it?
I would still tip.
Yeah, what I meant to say is it. I'm sorry. What I meant to say is it okay to not tip?
conflicted on this one because I know that a server, they make most of their salary on a tip, and you never know what's going on with that person, if they're new or if something's going on with them to make them not the best at their job that day. So I would say no. I would still leave something as a tip if I was able to.
Okay, cool. Kind person. I like it. What is that one food you would never want to share, even with your significant other?
So I could have it all to myself?
All to yourself.
Gelato.
Gelato.
Gelato ice cream.
Okay. Mine's is the French fries from McDonald's. French fries from
Oh,
McDonald's. Yeah, they
it's
all
also a good
mine.
one.
They all mine. Don't touch. I asked you, did you want someone who was in traffic? You said no. So okay. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you want to go?
New Zealand. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I would love to go see the Shire in New Zealand.
Okay. Gotcha. Last one. Favorite movie?
The Princess Bride.
Okay.
The Princess Bride. It's an oldie, but a very, very good one.
Okay, I dig it. Look at Colin Faul, little Colin Faul. I appreciate you coming through here on the 11:30 podcast. It was real awesome chatting with you, talking to you, and your story, and sharing your amazing story and your book as well. The links will be down below for everyone who's listening on Spotify, for everyone who's watching here on YouTube, for anyone who want to contact you. And for more information, Colin, let everyone know where they can follow you at.
Sure. Follow me on, my daughter has a Facebook page. It's called Grace's TSC Journey on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at Colleen Keefe Faul. You can always get in touch with me through my website, www.godspreciousgifts.com. And you can also follow me on Facebook, my author page at Colleen Keefe Faul Author is my page on Facebook.
All right. Look at God's Precious Gift. It's coming out. It's out right now. You guys go get a copy. Yes, it's out right now. The Spanish copy will be available soon. Correct?
Yes.
All right.
Hopefully by March.
Okay, all right. For everyone, definitely get a copy. I can't wait to have you on for the also the other book, the sibling with special needs, having a sibling. Definitely sounds interesting. You gotta have you back on. But once again, Colin, thank you for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast. Everyone sit tight. We'll be right back. I'm gonna wrap up the show. Don't move, man. You're watching and you're listening to the 11:30 podcast.
Momentum since he's back. I would not have Cody or Roman touch, period. Have them go back and forth on the mic till Mania. That is when they touch. That's it. I don't want to see a spear. I don't want to see a crossroad. I don't want them to touch. I want promo. Build that shit verbally. I want the mind games. That's what needs to happen.
Rhodes is on a damn John Cena milestone type look right now. Promo-wise, is the most impactful promos that you could tell right now. I've said this from day one. The promos for Roman's match with Cody is going to make Cody be the #1 dance partner for Roman, period. The stuff that he did with Paul Heyman, he made Paul Heyman cry on national TV. That was not a work, guys. That was a straight up emotional feeling that you got with that. And then that final sentence.
If it wasn't you saying what you were saying, I would have asked you, are you sure? Because Paul Heyman, man, he can make anything believable.
I agree with you on that. but
it was awesome.
But where Paul, and this is where Paul started getting his strings back when he said, Dusty always said Cody was his favorite, but Roman is the son he always wanted. Storyline reverse wise, Dusty always wanted Seth Rollins to be his son. So I love that impact of what they did to bring that transition into it. It makes that match even more remarkable. I agree what Eric said. Do not have these guys touch at all. Finish the story. That is what WrestleMania 20. This is what WrestleMania Hollywood should be. The story climatic ending of Cody Rhodes Finally, main
Okay.
event.
Happy ending.
Okay, question though. So you guys don't see Cody. You guys don't see it.
American ending.
You guys don't see Cody Rhodes not losing at WrestleMania.
If they lose, it's
All
gotta be
right.
logical.
I won't. I'll be mad as hell.
I'm
about
putting
this
it
one.
on Cody.
Wow.
If they make him lose, if they don't have him go over, you better have a damn good reason for it, because the fans will flip their shit.
Colleen Foul, thank you for coming through here on the 1130 podcast. Really, really dope time chatting with you, having you on the show. It was really amazing. The links will be down below. God's precious gift, you guys. God's precious gift, a special needs child. For the parents out there who may be for the parents out there that have children with special needs, or you want to learn about this amazing story from Colin Fowl, or just some uplifting inspirations, because I know my mom was a mom who had a disabled child, which was me and stuff. So this was really awesome to chat with Colin Fowl, and also how now me growing up and now being a disabled guy, and now having a little son now. So it's really awesome, and just hearing things, I think life take us full circle in a way. And I talked about it on the podcast how we went to church and hospital, and that was where I went, man, my whole entire childhood, man, and just was amazed, man. I was just like, yo, like I couldn't believe it. You couldn't tell me that after all these years that I would wind right back up here. No, not at all, man. This has been a one hell of a show, great show. Once again, shout out to Colin Fowl. The links will be down below if you want to get a copy of her book, man. Yo, I'm out of here. Before I go, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. And if you haven't done so, this entire episode, I don't know what you're waiting for. Definitely hit the subscribe button down below. And follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast _, man. For real. Shout out to everyone who support the 1130 podcast. Thank you guys so much, and enjoy you guys' week, man. Have fun. And like I said, Talk Pro Wrestling this Friday, and a live episode of Talk Pro Wrestling Saturday, man. For real. And also Commission Talks, man. Wednesday. We at it. We on the Wrestling Asylum, man. Starring Aaron the Joker. Commission Talk. We back at it, man. For real. This was a great episode. I thank everyone for tuning in each and every week. Yo, stay blessed, stay safe. Give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it? Yo, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.